Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're coming at you with another episode of Splat Chat, episode 8. Oh my god. With me today, you have Nine, one of the GOAT commentators of the game. We got Six, and we got Dark. So this is a great roster. This is a great roster of really smart people. How y'all doing?
Doing good.
That was needlessly kind of you. I appreciate it, and my heart is filled.
Awesome. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Sorry, I get distracted every time that I get the chance to talk about Area Cup. So if I'm a little bit absent-minded here tonight, you all will know exactly where my heart and my mind lie. But this is a full itinerary. I don't want to jump ahead of anything or anyone else's introduction. But it's Area Cup. Come on.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm actually curious about how you guys are finding out all this information about Area Cup, because I like to do my homework. I like to study things. So I did look up Area Cup and I did watch through it, but it was difficult for me because I don't know any Japanese and I couldn't read any team names and I couldn't recognize any players. So when you guys came in and said like, "Oh yeah, we can talk about Area Cup. I know so much about this." Like, how do you learn? How do you do this?
Well, it was a lot harder back in the day, I should say. Now there is an Area Cup Global Twitter account, as well as the traditional Area Cup Twitter account. Area Cup Global is just the exact same tweets, but translated to English. So that helps. Outside of that, the nice thing is they have a website as well. So that does some auto-translate stuff, and you can find it there. But yeah, for the most part, you hear a lot of the same names because a lot of players at the top of Japanese Splatoon stay winning, as the kids say. Learning a little bit of hiragana and katakana to read names is something that you can pick up pretty quickly too. But I would say definitely go to that Area Cup Global Twitter page, and that'll be a great way to start.
Sure.
It's funny to see because my expertise in just competitive games as a whole spreads a wide range. So seeing Area Cup and being so not necessarily solely Japanese, because now there's Area Cup Global, so there's been translations and efforts to try and bring Area Cup to the wider audience, right? But the main Area Cup account and just seeing it like all that Japanese is somewhat familiar to me, because a lot of fighting games, a lot of like the higher prestigious events are Japan exclusive. So like following along with Area Cup really isn't that hard, in the sake of like I don't really know what's going on, but it's not necessarily like a baffling thing to me, But it's always so fascinating to see, and I just enjoy watching it when I can. But it's not that often because I'm always busy with work.
Yeah. I do like that, for me at least, Area Cup, the typical timeline usually ends up finishing up right as I'm finishing breakfast before I drive into work. So it's a perfect thing. I wake up a little early, make my little breakfast, got my eggs there, just kind of eating, watching Area Cup, listening to Hemi, who is one of my favorite commentators, regardless of language. Hemi Dayo is his Twitter. His voice is unbelievable. So if you ever listen to an Area Cup, you'll probably hear his voice. It's the perfect combination of just so chill when he wants it to be, and then suddenly he hits this pitch. I can't describe it. It's one of those where you feel it in your like pancreas. I don't even know like how deep in the gut you feel it, but he's really new too. I think he's only been doing this for about a year, maybe a little bit more, but
oh wow.
He's awesome. And Area Cup almost always has the same main host, and then they bring in a different top player to be the co-commentator. So there's a little continuity for you there too.
Cool. Should we be doing that?
Well, that's a whole other conversation. I mean, if we're into the commentary discussion, I could talk all night, but...
Oh, true. Okay, let's not. We're going to bore everyone else.
Yes, we will. We'll hold them hostage and talk about commentary, talking about talking.
Oh, goodness.
when are we gonna get the commentators podcast to go a little bit off topic? I think that would be very.
Who's asking for that? Who is asking for that?
All you need is one person to ask for it, and I'll make it. I don't care.
It's no one. No one's asking for it.
I mean, I remember back in the day we did. It was called Ink Radio, and it was myself and a few others who like either TOs or commentators typically who would do it. I remember K-Bot and Matt, aka Ninja, who were commentating everything for a while, did one called Talk Speed Up. So that was a fun dynamic between those two. And then I'm trying to think of another one. I've seen some one-offs, but yeah, a commentator podcast that's got like 10 people watching, but those 10 people are hooked from start to finish.
Yeah, it is. Commentating, very, very underrated part of the scene. But let's crack into it. Area Cup number 38. Oh my gosh. There is some very, very cool runs this time around. When it comes to the top four, one of the streams is always, streamed for the top four, of course, right? The bottom set here. But I actually decided to check out the set that wasn't streamed by the main cast first. The one between Go and especially here, Ung's opponents Go had a really interesting calm this time around. Super interesting calm.
What was it?
Yeah, so it was the members themselves, at least, were Kino-chan, Kino Channel, or just Kino, who is a brush player that is actually competing in Area Cup Crown. Did compete in Area Cup Crown, but is also competing in the Splat World Series with a different roster. But always cool to see brush representation, especially we've been seeing just a lot more Ink Brush Nouveau nowadays as well, especially like with like Ink the Zone, for example, where Kino did really well. Did really, really well. Sorry, not Kino. Miya did really well. But there's also Nayagora, one of the members of Egoist, the group that won.
My favorite player in the world is Nayagora.
Yeah.
Favorite in the world.
Super, super good at spotting player. And then Utoka, who is a player that I haven't really seen in the top fours of Area Cup much, but played really, really, really good pen there in that top four. And the 10th player of Japan, well, one of the two 10 players, Jikashi. Really, really popular 10th guy. Extremely funny streams. One time I played against him in an Area Cup, and then before the game too, he set the music to Not Bad Do Better because he knows I speak English, and I was like, dang, dude. You do me like that.
Yeah.
But
man, that's the most beautiful part of Area Cup too. Every time a roster comes up here, there's always 3 or 4 names that just make me go, oh, I love it. I mean, obviously Nayagoro, one of my favorites too. Kino-chan, very fun too. But like, there was a period of time where Chikashi and that old Pixio Monster squad were like so far ahead of the rest of the world of Splatoon. I remember some of those casts back in the Splatoon Premier League where I remember there was one I was commentating with Kiver, and I remember after the set, I was just like, did any one of those games look close to you? And you never say this on cast, right? But Kiver was like, no, not really. They're way ahead of everybody. And I think they swept that league, and that was a top Japanese league, so that's how far away of everybody they were at the time. But he's still doing it. And Jikashi's Twitter is really funny too, and he always gets tons and tons and tons of interactions with it. Actually, I'm gonna check this out right now. Let me see how many followers Chikashi has, because I bet it's a lot. Chikashi, are you?
CHIKASHI. Like C, like cheat, like chicken.
So it's also SPLAR_ would be the Twitter like handle. Yeah, 36.7 thousand followers. Wow. So there you go.
So good.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. You said 3 names that I love, so I had to interject.
And that's what it's about. Just absolute passion for the game. But their comp was pretty. I kind of get it, but I actually had in my head like a better idea of what could have been ran. So Takashi being a pretty much a talent one trick playing the S10s, also the V10 for a couple of maps, but a majority of the S10s paired with Utoka on the pen, then Kino on the Nouveau ink brush. Kino just loves the Nouveau ink brush so much. But then Naigora has played pretty much every following out there at a top level. Like I've even seen him play Hydra and solo queue.
He's going for 4K with Hydra right now. It's not going well, but he's going for it.
Yeah, very diverse following player. But for a majority of the games, he actually opted for the Nautilus. And Nautilus, still a really solid weapon. But when I was looking at the games and thinking about the comp just in my head, we have this ink brush Nouveau with the Tensabrella core, and that's a lot of starting fight potential on their side of the map. You have the 4 ink mines that can help if they like strike the zone or something. The ink mines can like counter cap and basically help stall it, or if they're not striking, it just helps stall in general. And the Nautilus does work with the 10s as like, get the Nautilus guy in and you can help spray. But paired with the pen, it felt like through the games there was kind of like 2 win cons, where it's like the Nautilus and the pen, they're really, really good at denying the opponents from walking in. And the 10s can play, or the Naut can play with the 10s, but then it's like the ink brush is doing all this distracting stuff over here. And then when the ink brush goes down, there's like the 10s can kind of do it, but what would happen is their opponents, they did a really good job at, especially like on Marlin, for example. The ink brush would run in, it would get spammed down, and then the 10 tries to do that, and they get spammed down, and then Nautilus can't give like chip damage to finish this fight properly, or it can't swim up and also be another like aggressive running at you threat on the map. So it was a little bit awkward. They still played extremely well, but just like the comp seemed a little awkward.
Well, it's also, let's not bury the lead on who they were playing against there, because there's one particularly difficult to hit and even harder to kill Dapple Dooley's player that was on Team Ung, who has been on an absolute tear recently. Nispa, also Neat Splatoon, that's what the Nispa is short for, on those Dapples. That, as soon as I like pieced together kind of what the comp they were playing against was, I'm looking in my head, I'm like, all right, how does Tent deal with Dapples? How does Brush deal with that? Oh, and then I just kept like, my heart kept sinking as I was reading more and more and more of this too. And then you're also up against Waterbow, who I think is one of the 2 best pencil players in the world right now. So like that's a rough draw for them to run into, and that's just Area Cup in a nutshell, right? I mean, what, 99% of the teams out there lose to that squad, as wild as it is with the Nautilus running around, but eventually you get to the top 4 of Area Cup and it's like, well, now what do we do? They have a better comp and they're better than us.
Yeah, Wolbo and Nispa, those are demons right there. And then you got like Grand Roll on top of it with the Dread. It's like, Nispa and Grand Roll together, just like,
yeah,
that's a chaos duo.
Yep. Grand Roll. I remember a conversation I had with gosh, I don't even remember who it was years ago, but we just kind of went down this list of like, man, there's so many good bucket players out there. And at the time we were still going gaga for Rentana, and let's be honest here, people still do. Rentana, of course, everyone was excited about. Ko, probably at this point, a lot of people would say is their favorite, but I tell you, man, Grand Roll, Grando, like, I see you. That Dread transition has been perfect. I think that weapon has completely changed what Grando can bring to a comp, because Ko is just going to continue playing the traditional slosher, and Rentana I think probably will too, but being able to switch over to that Dread totally changes some of those comps. And Grando's been playing both types of Dread too, if I'm not mistaken, both of the more meta Dreads, so that's been a weapon that's gotten a lot of love as of late.
It's so cool. It's so great that he found a weapon that just clicks like that. Like, in the way he plays the game, it's like, it's almost perfect in a way for Nispa, where it's like, where Nispa, like, for example, on the Manta game versus Gogo, I think I got a quiver that as well. It's like a quiver that as well, like how put it up in just a second here, but it was really good at showing the dynamic that those two have. So it's almost there. Where's the thing at? Okay, I'll find it. But the way Granro would play is he plays this really sit back style where he plays around the zone, does a lot of pre-firing. If someone pushes into his space and Niswa's fighting that, he can finish that damage really well. Dapple and Dread do a really good job of calling off each other. But on that Manta game, what Niswa would do on the pushes is that he would push onto street like almost alone. Well, pretty much alone. He would get taken out because like his comp, which is like, it was both of the Dreads, it was Pen, V-Dapple for a couple of maps. So usually, like, at least for this, it was Pen, Crab Dread, the Nuvo Dapple, and the Missile Pro. So Niswa was pretty much the only aggro. When he's going up like that, he gets taken out, but he's able to call stuff. Like, he's able to call where the Carbon Rower is, and the rest of the team's able to rotate in a kind of way where when that Carbon eventually drops, they're able to wall it out. And just like that flow of like, Niswa go win, trade, call out guy, other guy spam him out. It's so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and there's very much there's an execution check nature of it too, where like Nispa's going in and rolling and trying to fight and take these fights. But I have always argued that at a certain point in Splatoon, you sort of have to be unafraid of doing that, and you have to be okay doing that, and you have to make the opponent prove they can continue to corral you in those spots. And I think, you know, Nispa's recent results, I mean, I think this is what, like the third or fourth silver medal for Nispa, unfortunately. But I mean, that means a whole lot of teams are not able to wall out. The problem that Nispa's been running into, I think, is that maybe the worst matchup for Dapples right now at the highest level is an Splat 91. And Japan happens to have one of those players that is Lobstar the best player in the game right now? Is Lobstar the best player in the world? I don't know who you say if not. Like, with all due respect to Chocopero, who continues to get DDoSed every time he gets close to some big major achievement. Like, Lobstar, somebody put out a sheet the other day of weapons that have won the most area cups. And of course, Pencil was number one. But then I was looking, and I think it was 10 wins for S-Blast 91 and 8 wins for Range Blaster. And I'm going through my checklist in my head. I'm like, okay, there's not a lot of people who've played those and won. And I'm like, has Lobstar won 18 area cups? Like, Lobstar's like 16. Like, the area cup's been going on for this many years. Like, I am stunned at how good Lobstar continues to be. And every time I watch Lobstar stream, which is pretty much every day, there's just moments where the most unbelievable play will happen, and there's just absolutely no reaction because it's second nature to the guy.
Lobster with another 3K.
Oh.
Good.
Oh.
Fascinating.
So what? Yeah, I was gonna say it's just Lobstar and Ryukun then. Yeah, Melon. There should be an asterisk next to that one.
Yeah,
Melon's won it 5+ times, but I think he's won almost every one that he's been in. Yeah, 1-1s, 52 gals. That's there. There's the pencil. Yeah, Splash makes sense.
Shuma.
Yep, Shuma, getting it done. You know, we need another Koshin to happen because I think Shuma finally aged out of the elementary school division of
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, those poor school children being terrified by a top 10 player in the world who also just happens to be an elementary schooler. It's not fair. It's not fair.
I can't even begin to fathom, like, what makes it so that there's just that much of a skill disparity between Japan and the rest of the world, because it's not like we have a different game or anything like that, or different equipment, or just we're all playing the same game, and most of us put up pretty much equal amount of time into the game, but there's just time and time again I always hear how Japan is just so much farther ahead, and I genuinely I'm not trying to soak any kind of fire or whatever, right? But I genuinely am wondering like what is it that they're doing that makes them so far ahead.
I mean, that's a conversation that we've been having for years. I will also note that anyone who is unhappy with their fires being stoked has the chance to beat a bunch of kill squads in the Splat World Series to, prove the case here. Yeah, I don't know. I've always kind of boiled it down to two things, I guess 2.5, if you will. One is the top players in Japan play a lot. And I know a lot of us play the game a lot. That's why we're here. We're all in too deep. But I think you look at I don't know, the top players in Japan, and they're all level 500 something. Oh. I mean, there is just an insane amount of time they spend in this game, and there's no substitute for it. I will say the other thing that they do differently is the quality of practice that they get, I think, is very, very high, partially because of events like Area Cup, where people will have their opinions on zones only tournaments, of course, but you cannot deny that a bi-weekly that used to be weekly tournament that is the same format every time with really good players every time is the perfect training ground to continue trying to beat other people. There's lots of tournaments, but they're all very simple formats. You get in, you play against these strong teams. It's pools into single elim. You're done. Let's go scrim. Let's try it again. And I think that's the big part of it, is just really good players continually playing against really good people. And then my half point is in the 2.5. They take solo queue very seriously. How many viewers Trocapero had when he was about to get 5K? It was almost 50,000 viewers of a live stream. Wow. They take it very, very seriously. Those of you who've watched the Splat World Series trailers know that people proudly display their top X rank next to their name. And I never have felt the same sort of emphasis or acknowledgement in a lot of the stuff that we do around here. And I'm not saying that the best solo queue players are the best team players. What I will say is you can't be a really good solo queue player without also being a pretty good competitive player too. It doesn't usually work that way. And I think that, again, it just contributes to more time spent in the game. And that environment is a positive feedback loop.
Yeah, it's beautifully said. The mix of caring a lot about solo power, so much to the point where stream titles, they're looking at the stream title. All right, what's your XP? All right, XP 3960 total. All right, I'm watching that. That plus that amazing tournament scene, the Area Cup, for example, right? The bi-weekly, so many top players showed up, and especially recently, since around the third kid started the drop, there's been so many top groups and pickups. You cannot be in a group without meeting 2 guys that are 3,500 or something like that. But I also have to shout out their tournament scene, as well as the other orgs like Area Cup. For example, there is a series called Simon Match High, which is or Simon Match Cup, which is another competitive tournament weekly well, not weekly, but it's a tournament scene that's similar to Area Cup, but they do a bunch of different modes. There are a lot of tournaments in the JP scene, but top players show up to so many of them. The competition is so intense for a ton of them. And I also do want to say that this might also be another helpful factor is they care a lot about Turf War. They take it really, really seriously. I see players that post their peak fest power in their profile, like they won a tournament or something. Wow, I got a fest power of 2800.
Oh, and that's awesome.
Yeah, the culture feels so much different when it comes to Turf War there, and with how fundamental remote turf is, it could be a slight edge. It could be a slight edge.
Yeah, I wish people in North America took it a little more seriously. I feel a lot of competitive players, whenever there's a Splatfest that's happening, they're really upset about it all the time. But Turf War, I think that's like the base of Splatoon. That's what Splatoon was, and to practice that, to get good at that, and to celebrate it the way that Japan does, I think is a direction we should move towards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Koshin being their Super Bowl, I think, is all you need to look toward there. Everybody shows up for Koshin. Everybody plays so hard at Koshin. It's Japan's qualifier to get into the World Championship and those traditional things. And I mean, teams develop these huge strategies for it. And I will say, to the man who has won everything, Melon, who also got 9 top Fest powers in a row, 9 consecutive Splatfest, he got it, and then he flubbed on the 10th one. I mean, what a bum, this guy. He never won a Koshin this most recent time, and he had Ryukun on his team. I mean, this was a super strong. I think Himajin was on it too, and there was one other that I can't quite recall. A very strong team. Sorry,
was it Norisk?
I guess that would have been the IGZ days. It might have been,
true.
yeah. It might have been Nordisk, yeah. In any case, it was a strong team. 3 chances to win a Koshin, and he didn't win any of them. And that tells you all you need to know about how unbelievably good people get at Turf War and understanding that game mode. And again, I think it boils down to strategies that you've developed for different things, and then just time spent in the game grinding Turf War over and over and over and over and over again. And eventually, yeah, if you grind Turf War, you'll get better than your opponents at Turf War. I mean, there's little intricacies to it. You think that you figured out Turf War until you see some, Raru, I believe, was the one who was playing for a Phantom Thief. As their reflex player. I think it was Raru who was playing the reflex, but the broader point is, until you see a reflex player who really knows what they're doing, and you realize that it took you 10 more seconds to do what they did, and you're just like, wait a minute, I got to start digging a little bit deeper here. And then again, the attention to detail and the fundamentals, it's awesome to behold no matter the mode, but I do think in Turf War it's particularly stark.
So much emphasis, so much culture, beautiful culture there. All right, at least for Area Cup here, we talked a little bit about the one of the top 4 sets. There is a couple more here with this one was streamed. There was the one streamed with Gorizu, I believe it was called.
Yep.
Gorizu, and they fought against, it was Taku Katsumu. And Taku Katsumu's comp was actually, it kind of brought me back in a way. They had something really interesting.
Yep.
Well, on the roster here was Takenoko, which I find Takenoko really funny nowadays, because it's if Takenoko is doing well, the West is you know what, I think Squeezer could do it. I think Squeezer, pretty solid weapon. When Takenoko's not playing or doesn't do that well, there's not really any Squeezer players nowadays,
I don't want to skip too far ahead. I don't want to skip too far ahead here, but the Splat World Series team Takoyaki Party, I'm it is rough that arguably the 2 best Squeezer players to ever play, Toto and Kantan, are both on one team and neither one of them is playing Squeezer.
It's so cooked.
It's hurt, man. It hurts. But yeah, I was happy to see Takenoko out. And then Ributen has always been kind of a secret favorite player of mine. That's again another name that always shows up in top 4s and top 8s of area cups, but has never quite closed the deal out as well. And it's one of those things where you're man, in another scene, you would be one of them. You'd be one of them. But because you're in Japan right now and on a different pickup every week, it's tough. You can't quite jump ahead of some of these teams.
Yeah. It's he's a Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Super Saiyan 3 Goku or something, and then the other guys are Super Saiyan 4. Of course, Nibitan, phenomenal. All these players are outstanding. They will 20-0 me in a 1v1. Those Just shows like Japan is just the grind and the dedication. But their comp, they had the edit squeezer and then Junior Swasher. And I saw Junior, I was like, oh my god. Like this is like an 8.0 kind of comp right here, where it's like we have the Swasher, the OP midline, the pair with Squeezer, the other OP midline, and then we flex and edit because that always better with Squeezer, and then Junior. It was like, oh wow. However, not only was the team they're fighting just four gods, but I also gotta say the matchups are a bit tricky. With Godizu, they had Inaten, outstanding, the other like outstanding 5 player in well actually there's like 4 or 5 amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. We haven't even mentioned Sugi yet, so you know, more Splatling players.
So good. Paired with Lobster, which we talked about, like the goats, as Splash Warlord, with just Blaster in general Warlord, honestly. Then Momo, who won the Splat Zones parts for King's Cup, and just outstanding, really, really aggressive Pen player all around. Like if anyone ever says that Pen is a lame weapon, just show them like a VOD of Momo. They're just never gonna say that again.
Nope.
And then the X Squeezer player in Toto on the Mints. But my main thing is Mints into like 3/4 of Taku Kachami's roster is just tough. Like, you know, with your dash slash as Mints here, I think I can pull up a clip with this. Well, okay, actually, I can't. Not quite yet, but at least when it comes to the double bubble parts, double bubble is actually pretty tricky. Yes, the edit can shred the bubbles like very well, and then Swasher with the strikes are solid when it comes to like shredding bubbles in general. But when there's 2 of them, like you can spend your strikes to shred one bubble, but then when the second one's up and the second one has an 80 damage one-shot Warlord nuke in there, it's rough.
It is rough, and I'll also say the map list really didn't do them any favors here. You know, what's worse than playing against Lobster and Momo? How about 2 maps where you have to drop into the center, where Lobster and Toto are just waiting for you? And then, actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and say all 3 of the maps were like that. I forgot that, what was it? It was Undertow, it was this one right here, and then I think it was Museum. So, like, where do you drop? What do you do? Toto was at your spawn. Like, what do you do here? What do you do? So I'm not saying it would have changed a ton, but like that's just insult to injury here. You're fighting the strongest opponents and it's home field advantage.
Yeah. Like Museum especially. I think I gotta quibble like that exact point as well, like the point about the one-way drops being hard. And then, like, on top of that, I noticed something very interesting about the way that they played around the screen, because the Taku pickup, Takenoko actually started opting for the foil squeezer, which I thought was interesting. I think all 3 games actually had the like some kind of screen, because game 1 it was no, sorry, they didn't. Game 2 and 3 they did have a screen though, but the way they played around screen was like they would either one back up pretty far, like Momo would play farther back behind the screen to just be able to pre-fire anyone. Or 2, Toto or Lobster would try to play around the sides of their screen and then use that to basically start a fight. And then if they can get behind the screen and then pop bubble, it's like the screen basically does nothing.
Yeah, agreed entirely. And that's, for better or worse, screen doesn't exactly become an easy thing for your own team to look at either. And one of these teams has giant burst hitboxes, and unfortunately, it's not the team that uses screen. I mean, I guess they had a slosher, so they had something. But the broader point of like, if both of these teams are just firing in the general direction of a screen, like, of course, the team that's got the burst damage and the big hitboxes is going to at least ward the other team off. And again, there's not a whole lot of staying power, I think. But screen has been getting a lot of play recently, too. I remember even kind of back towards like the World Championship time, there were quite a few people at the very top who I was chatting with in my prep for that event who were saying that screen is way stronger than people want to admit, obviously because of the difficulties that it, produces from an accessibility standpoint. But just not being able to see, and I'm not even talking about once you get hit by it. I'm talking about when it is in front of you and you can't see. On some maps, that's huge. And if it buys you, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds, that's an eternity of time in Splatoon.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear that. Cool and not cool. It's cool that the opinion of like an underrated special is actually, like it's a sleeper special. We could see more of it in the Splat Wars series, especially with like the Ashen Try, for example.
Yep.
That weapon is just like perfect screen weapon, honestly.
Ashen's sick. I hope we see it. Ashen is such a sick weapon that is not going to see as much play because there are other weapons in his slot that are just a little bit better, but Ashen's such a sick weapon.
Yeah. It's so nice. Moving into... Oh, yeah?
No, I was just going to
So, moving into grand finals here, we got and Gori. Now, something I heard that was actually pretty interesting is that this is pretty much a run back. We have the Toto Mint, we have the Lobster S Splash, and they're fighting Nispa and Grand Roll here. I'm not sure if the Pen players are the exact same. Wobo is here with Nispa and Grand Roll, but I'm not sure if Momo was with them the last time.
No, they had it was Waterbo, Grand Roll, and Nispa, and then they had, oh my gosh, Frozen Pro.
Uto?
Oh gosh, it was oh my gosh, this is the first player to get to S+50 back when the game first came out. Played Flash-O-Matic. Oh my gosh, this is gonna eat at me for the rest of my life. Anyway, to your point, yes, it is sort of a run back, because I remember the previous Area Cup was the Reef Slider Cheese Area Cup, and it was like the double dapple. It was the red dapple, blue dapple, and then Grand Roll, and this was right after Urchin Underpass had come out. And everyone was like, yeah, Urchin Underpass. And then they watched one Area Cup and they're like, oh man, Urchin Underpass. I don't know about this. I don't know about this map. This is a little rough. But yeah, it was sort of a run back. That's a great call.
Reef Slider Underpass. But at least game one here was pretty surprising, at least from a pick standpoint, because Grand Roll, instead of going for, it's understandable, right? Because Undertow, not that great of a slider map. Like, you have some angles, but one of the slider's best points is like, if you can cap the zone, the special jumps like 3 tiers, and there's 2 zones, so you can't really do that. But then the crab, we didn't go for the crab dread either. We actually went for the Ashen Try, paired with the whale dapple, which is like, we went from like 1 or 2 sliders to basically 0 there, which is like, it was interesting, because like one of the things I was thinking when I saw the pick immediately of the Ashen Try was that this is really different than what Grand Roll has been playing like in the tournament. Because like, as we talked about in the meta game, sort of like sit back play style, let Nispa take the fights, play the crossfire. Ashen's more like you can kind of sit back at times to throw bombs, so like you're not gonna deliver that much paint value. You're a lot more ratty, a lot more using your special to walk up and take your own angles, that kind of play. So it was cool to see.
Yeah, I always thought that Grando's best slosher was a try, or try Niveau, just depending on what it was. So the Ashen, I think, has been a nice hit. And I remembered the name. It was Kairi. Kairi was the one who was there the previous week. But yes, it was on the Frozen Pro. So at this point, I think Waterbo, Nispa, and Grando are just like, hey, at here +1 Frozen Splatter Shop Pro. We'll get we're getting silver at worst here. Come along for the ride.
It's so incredible, silver medal, not that bad. But something I noticed about this map, and especially the way that Toto and Lobster played this, and it reminded me of the way Lobster, because there was an area cup like a few back, like 5 or 6 back, where a Lobster group fought a Toto group for top 16. Insane top 16, but like something that Lobster loves to do on this map is set up around the top left, like the little like left grass section, and then just sit there. And then if a single guy tries to drop down from their snipe onto undertow or onto like the little spine area, pre-fire, and then when he gets a booyah set up, and then his teammates are on like the other side, it's nasty.
And the fastest jump outs in the world. I mean, the worst feeling ever is when Lobster does that exact thing that you're setting up, hits a 180 direct on you, and then before you even know what happened, he's already jumped to another teammate somewhere else on the map. He's like planned his, not only his heist, but his escape route. And then, oh yeah, when he lands, he's probably going to land with Booyah Bomb. So even if you camp it and you read it, you can't do anything there because he goes up at that point. And then all the while, as you've been watching these fireworks, Toto gets behind you. It's painful.
It's so nasty.
Also, I just want to point out like the absurdity of saying, yeah, there goes Lobster doing his thing. I just want to point out the absurdity of saying that a Lobster group and a Toto group had to fight for top 16. Like, if you needed any sort of like proof as to how insane Japan's scene is, like that's a top 16 match. Are you serious? Like, what are we doing here? This is I go gaga for this stuff. It's endlessly entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Grand finals for like top 16, like but yeah, they did take the game 1 in undertow there like pretty solidly. But then game 2, something interesting happened, and when I saw that the comps for game 2, I was like, wow, this is not a pen map. This physically just cannot be a pen map. Like, if we're getting Momo of all people to switch off a sniper onto the red dapples.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening here?
Yeah. Turns out, okay, I'll bring a little fire here. Turns out we all forgot that Splatoon 1 maps were just needlessly long, okay? And when it takes you 15 seconds to swim back into a relevant portion of the map, that's tough. So let's go with something that maybe has some beacons and can maybe scramble a little bit too, instead of that pencil having to get into these positions. And I know that's not the whole reason, obviously. There's some awkward spots to play pen on in this map that maybe aren't as great, but at a certain point there becomes a scuffle in the middle, and you've just got to have a little bit more to it than that. So yeah, this is not a pen map apparently here, if these two are willing to switch off of it.
Yeah. Something I noticed, at least with the with like the start and kind of the middle of the game here, is just how fast is at taking the flanks and skirmishing on the map. Which, like, granted, right, beacon dapple plus lightweight dapple plus backwist comp, it kind of just checks out. But their regroup factor is like really it's really cool to see, just being able to, wow, the dapple was on the left side of the map. Okay, I gotta look there. Oh no, the other dapple was sharking in the middle of the zone. Oh, they appeared. Oh, I'm dead. Like, ooh. But yeah, at least something with this comp here is, as we talked about, well, as you talked about 9, with the just ridiculous slider underpass moments. You can have so much momentum pushing up on their plat, securing 3Ks, 6Ks, whatever. If we're not watching the left jaw properly, Nisma's gonna go roll, slider. And if that doesn't cap, then Grenville's like, all right, I got you. And just sliders as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you also have missiles, just to, make sure no one's minding those flanks too diligently. If you think, hey, they're watching the flanks, we'll missile in, and missile reef just seems like punching a wall full of nails. Like, it is so unpleasant. I don't know. I don't even know that you can hold against it. I think you just have to have a huge lead and then play swapsies for the rest of the game, and that's your best hope.
It's so ridiculous. Game 3, where we're down OT here. We do opt for the Zimmy again. it's interesting seeing it's like Inoten, I believe Inoten on Zimmy for so much. I remember like this is like far back, like almost like a year back, like Area Cup Extra, when this was a special Area Cup, which granted by the name Extra, it was like a preparation for an East Japan versus West Japan sort of like qualifier invitational type event. But that's the first time I ever saw like a V Mini like really doing stuff. Like Inoten was going crazy on the sticks there. So it was cool to see Inoten on play Vimy again, like Underpass or Urchin Underpass, and of course playing both is just helpful. But at least for Humpback, we were on the Zimmy, and Nispa's build especially was just hilarious to see. Oh yeah, that was like a nice flank there. But Nispa ran 2 mains of special power up and no self jump.
Oh.
Slider demon, slider merchant even. It was truly fascinating.
I respect there's no questions about that build, right? We don't have to analyze it really. Like let's not make this more than what it was. Nice was like, man, Race Slider's real good, and everyone knows where I'm at anyway, so I may as well. It's just
unbelievable.
You respect someone who's just willing to walk up and punch you in the face, right? Like it's not trying to settle anything. It's like, hey buddy, here's what I'm gonna do, and just do something about it, and we'll go on with our day. And I love it, man. Every once in a while you will see something like that and you'll be like, oh, what's the wisdom here? And then it's the simplest explanation along those lines. I remember back in this would have been Splat World Cup #1. This was way back. And one of those early squads, Natyu was playing for that, another backline god. Partway through the set, Natyu switched over to the tri-stringer. And I remember we were going crazy in the cast, and we asked them, we got to interview them after the fact because we had a translator in the call with us. It was me and Magic 8 Ball. And we asked one of the questions. We were like, Natyu, what were you doing going with that tri-stringer? Because I mean, this was way back when tri-stringer's not in a great spot now, but nobody was playing it back then. Yeah. This was back when E-Leader was still getting play, and so Natyu, of course, plays that. We're like waiting for this great wisdom, and Natyu's like, I wanted to spam special to help my team. And I'm like, no,
wow,
no. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It painted really well, and I wanted Killer Whale 5.1, and I guess Nova hadn't come out yet or something. But I just love that. Love that as an explanation.
So, just beauty and simplicity. Yeah. Big ups to the Toto Lobster Momo Inoten roster for winning that Area Cup. Super impressive stuff. Just they're on a roll. There's a couple other tournaments that happened recently that were pretty awesome in themselves. Both Western tournaments here with the Barnacle Bash #8, and the grand finals is super stacked, super duper stacked. With pulling this up here, but
yeah. There it is.
Yeah, just the winning team here with Bran, Q, Gray, and Jared. It's kind of like a Milky Way roster, and then he was like, "Yo, Gray, you wanna win this real quick?" And Gray was like, "Yeah, I got you." And then second place here with the U, Liter, or Noah. They got Jordan, Volty with Phoenix, and I gotta say shout outs to Phoenix, because for Barnacle Bash and also the next tournament we're gonna talk about, top 2 in both. Like that's some grind star right there. Playing in both tournaments and also top 2 in both. Sure. But something that was pretty cool from you specifically is the Liter Zap comp that they ran for it. I did see it. I saw both in the top 2 and top 4. So potentially they ran for the whole entire thing. It's like, Leader is it's not really a gun that we see much, because there's another sniper that is like, okay, what if we had a sniper but you also had a god special attached to it, and you also had combos, and you also had more shots, and you also had more paints. It's understandably less common.
You can keep going. That's only half the list right there.
Yeah, right.
That is a demon.
My one contribution to this segment is I just realized the name that I'm not even going to try to pronounce of Bran, Q, Gray, and Jared is just Milky Way in French.
What?
That's my one contribution to this segment here. So there you go. When you say it's a Milky Way light plus gray, you describe their exact naming thought process.
That's really good. I had no idea about that. But I was just something funny about Barnacle Bash was that both the first place team and the third place team ran the exact same comp of the pen with the Slosher S Splash and the V Splash. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. S Splash did receive a nerf. Very slap on the wrist nerf. I think Kyo put it beautifully where, yes, it has more lag, but if you one shot the guy anyway, the lag doesn't really matter.
Yep. I mean, I've said this multiple times throughout. Anyone who's paid attention to anything I say during my cast or commentatings, but I'm an S plus enjoyer. I've loved that weapon since the original kit came out. I don't really even remember however long it came out, right? But that nerf it got really isn't that much of a nerf in all things good. I mean, Kyo really put it well. If it doesn't matter if the guy you're trying to get is already gone, that nerf really just doesn't mean anything. It only matters in really intense fights where you're like really running tight on ink and you kind of need that extra second to really try to properly reposition there. But like a lot of those like micro adjustments and the micro things don't really come up too often in the majority of the games anyway, so it's like it's still really solid from what I've been seeing.
I mean, obviously people still use it, so it couldn't have been nerfed that bad. I didn't look into the technical aspects of it, but I mean the top players of the tournament are using it, so that's all you need to know right there.
Yeah. Of course, the ones that are practicing the game most, they're still finding value with a god gun, understandably. God for a reason. Yeah, big ups to Milky Way in French. I'll try. I'll try it. Voy like to. No, I'm sorry.
I don't know how to pronounce French vowels. It's all about the vowels in French.
Mm-hmm.
You get those wrong, that's a completely different word.
Well,
they're different from English?
Yes, they're very different.
Well, fortunately, that one has 3 vowels in a row at one point, so... Oh, yeah, here we go. This should help.
Yeah, there.
For those who can't hear, it says Voye Lacte.
Sure.
So, I don't know. I guess that's what it is, Voye Lacte.
There we go.
Shoutouts French.
Shoutouts French.
See, I mean, so that's the next tournament here is, it is an EU tournament, or at least EU focused tournaments in Champions Cup here. Champions Cup #1, Splat Zones edition. I do wonder if they're gonna do like swap the modes, because saying Splat Zones edition implies there's gonna be a tower control and a clan blitz.
Yeah, I was trying to look into this tournament organization. This is called Ink Destiny Cult, and it looks very new. Not a lot of tournaments behind it, but this particular tournament had like prize money, so I figured that's why people were playing in this one. There was also prize money for the Barnacle Bash, so that's some new theme we're gonna be paying our players, because that would be pretty cool.
True.
Yeah,
give us the prize pool.
From what I can tell, IDC is an up and coming organization at the very least. It's hard to say exactly how much staying power Champions Cup will have in the grand scheme of things, because that's really up to how the players react to another tournament in this sea of tournaments. But having prize money out of the gate, it's kind of helping it already. I mean, I'm sort of looking at the teams here. A lot of the team, there are like a lot of same players that you see in like a lot of high level playing in here in Champions Cup here. So I mean, they're already getting some pull right out the gate. So I feel like there's a good chance that Champions Cup can really become something not necessarily grand, but something impactful. I think that's the word. Yeah.
Yes. High impact tournaments. Yeah, the prize pool for prize basket help get some JP pickups. So money good.
Yeah,
money motivates.
There's the uncomfortable truth of the age-old question: how do we get top players to play in our tournament? You put a little money behind it, you make it double elim, and you make it Splat zones only. There you go. That's all you've got to do to get top players to show up. Is that what you want your tournament series to be? Maybe not, but it works. They want simplicity. They want to get in, they want to get out, and they want to play the modes they like. So I'm not at all surprised to see that a Splat Zones edition of that gets those types of players and gets those quality sets, quality games in. It's a formula that works.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering if that was the idea behind Barnacle Bash, because that wasn't put on by an organization. That was just by Yump, who I'm not familiar with. Maybe they're a well-known person in the community. I don't know. But it was interesting to me to watch something that was considered like this big, important tournament. And then the commentary was just very casual, like two friends sitting on a couch watching a Splatoon game. It's so different from the more, I guess, practiced commentary that I hear on IPL and such. It was very different. I can't. You know what? I'm not gonna say anything about it. I'm just way more used to more practiced commentary.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair point. The vibes of Barnacle Bash is like, it's pretty different. Like it is a pretty chill vibe, and I guess that sort of adds on to the idea of like, like the vibe is chill, the format's good, top players want to play, like that kind of idea.
And the money
Something
helps.
I gotta say, yes, absolutely. Shout outs to the comps that were in the Champion Cup, the grand finals, because for the first time in I don't know how long, Splatana, Stamper, Mirror. We did it. 20XX has been achieved. I'm just I'm just so happy to see
about the commentary thing. Another cool thing about Champions Cup, and I'm gonna glaze it because I was the one behind it, but doing the production on specifically this stream. But there was this cast that's on YouTube was a Spanish specifically cast.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they had an English and a Spanish one, so it's pretty interesting seeing like multilingual cast for a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
That is all.
Yeah, I remember Black Lotus Cup that I did the English broadcast for. I guess it was probably about a month ago now. It had 3 languages. And I remember this is way back. This was back in the early days of Splatoon 2. There was a tournament series called the Intergalactic Cup that I was a part of as a commentator. It was me and Shiny Hunter Zach at 2 a.m. in the morning, but it had 5 different languages on its cast. And we had teams representing 13 different countries.
That's amazing.
It was, and nobody saw it because it was at 2 a.m. Central Time. But yeah, I love when they have multilingual casts, because there are so many great commentary teams out there who realistically know that if their stream isn't in English, it's not going to get a ton of views. And, views might not be the main motivating thing, but I don't know, you put real effort into it because you want to put on a good show. Generally speaking, part of having a good show is people enjoying your show. So I love it when they go the extra step and make something like this happen. So it's so great to see more and more that type of approach to your broadcast.
Now I'm looking at the team roster for Champions Cup, and I only see one team that is entirely from Spain. So I think that's really cool that they decided to include Spanish, even though that wasn't the majority of the languages spoken by the teams. it would make sense to also have a German one, it looks like, because there's a lot of German players.
Yeah.
Yeah, German was one of the German was one of the languages for Black Lotus Cup, but that makes sense because Black Lotus's team is primarily German. So there you go.
Love it, love it. And we talked about, Area Cup, which is like just an absolutely insane top four. Barnacle Bash with, simple format. Can't go wrong with it. Players who want to crop on it. Champions Cup as well. Beautiful stand premiere. But there is a very cool, likely generational tournament coming up. The Splat World Series. And past like week or so, the teams have been slowly revealed one by one. Some get really, really hype attention. Others like, yeah, that makes sense. That's definitely a group that's gonna play a skill like that. But there's actually been a few new reveals since the last time we covered things.
There's some. I actually wanted to add, because I forgot to mention this in the preview thing. But do you guys want to briefly touch on the Vanguard thing, because that is very relevant as to why they didn't show up despite qualification? If you guys want to talk on that, I'll pull it up right now. If you guys want to look into that.
Yeah, it's
it sounded like drama. I don't know how much we want to get into that.
You don't have to. It's just mostly just acknowledging that's why they couldn't qualify.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, due to like some internal roster like changes and a bit too many swaps to like basically multiple members would have been swapped out for Vanguard, and at that point, they kind of just forfeited their spot. But at least in their place, we did. There was going to be a show match for Vanguard's place, I believe, between Free Flow and Aura, which are two groups that did very well in the in Super Jump. But the show match couldn't happen, or could not do it. So we ended up getting Free Flow, which is a really cool roster. One of the things that they represent as being all black roster, which I love things like that. And their comp's actually also very interesting with one of the few edit groups, one of those alone survivors, as they haven't swapped over the pen yet. Only a matter of time, but at least for now they're holding strong. It's the roster, but besides just the added there, honestly, like the weapons in general, all the rest weapons are very compelling. We have the Luna Blaster Neo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyone who's bringing that to a fight these days, that's a player of high character, I would say. Bringing that in. Mm-hmm. I will say, though, the thing that I really like about this comp and the way that it can kind of be built around is I think that Wiper plus Dualies is kind of nasty. Like that is obviously Dualies, when it's piloted by someone who really knows what they're doing, it just feels like you can never actually take them out. It just takes way too long. And then you add on top of that a weapon that is built to do exactly that in the Wiper. And you're just like, well, I can't get anybody. Like I put 3 shots on all of them and couldn't find the 4th. And that starts to weigh on you over the course of a set. And earlier we were kind of talking about Nispa and the execution test aspect of Splatoon. I think that this is another comp that forces the other team to be really strong and really accurate and really precise. And if you can't keep that up over time, or have, some compositional change, chip damage that you can stack on it as well, eventually you start making the unforced errors. We've all been there. I mean, even the strongest mentalities can crack after the Wiper beats you and you don't trade for the 5th time. It's how it goes.
So cool. It's just like very, very, very a comp that's very good at overwhelming a Wiper Dualies duo. It's honestly pretty similar to Dragon Rex, which is a team that we talked about a bit before, but they have the stamper with the V-Dually. V-Dually getting a lot of attention, deservedly so, but you got to pair with the sword if you want that infinite jump glitch.
Dude, Dragon Rex, it's So to again put in, like, I know it's like, oh, Nine's talking about Japan again, but like I want to point out that absolute kill squad that we just glossed over when we were in Area Cup finals talking about it. What if I told you that those players were on 3 separate teams here in the Splat World Series?
Oh,
Yeah, Lobster's on a squad. And then you've got Momo, who's on a squad with Mauricio, who a lot of people would say is still one of, if not the best player. And then Toto is on a different squad too. So it's just not fair. It's just not fair. They just spread out and conquer, as it were. But yeah, I like
the teams like determined for the Splat World Series. Like, were they established already? Did they make themselves up? Like, I don't understand how they were picked for this.
Something I noticed.
Go ahead.
Yeah, something I noticed is that actually a lot of the teams that are, or pickups rather, that are being made for this are actually pickups that are also played in Area Cup Crown. Area Cup Crown was an invitational that featured one of the best ranking players, like the players that have done the best in like the most recent Area Cups. And Dragon Rex is a repeat roster from there. Also, one of the groups that we talk about that were just revealed today, the Invincible Fleet's Reimaru, was also a repeat group. Yeah, Takoyaki Party as well. And
Okay.
It seems to be like a mix of, this group played an Area Cup Crown, let's play again. But also it seems to be like a mix of like asking and some like behind the scenes, like, I want to play with you type of deal.
Yep.
Okay.
A lot of it, so typically how they would do it for Splat World Series as well, or sorry, Splat World Cup, which was a lot of the same TOs on the Japan side, is they would essentially find a team that had won a specific event or placed really high in a specific kind of prize event or something there. They would invite that team back as it was. Obviously, we didn't talk at all about Japan's like super strong pickup culture, which I also think contributes to why they're so good. But it means that we have situations like this where on that day, on that tournament, all these players had just decided to kind of mix things up. And now they've been invited as they were there. So you have teams that are split, but they weren't really teams to begin with. It was more of a like, hey, I like playing with you. Let's grab a couple and go and run it. And that's how it was, at least for most of these teams that have been revealed on the JP side now. I do want to say one thing about the Invincible Fleet Reimaru, though, because that squad, if it loses, I'll be stunned, first of all. But do any of you want to take a guess at their average X rank power? Average. And this is Japan. This is JP solo queue too.
3,500.
Oh,
So we have a guess for 35.
I'm going to guess 44-27. That's my prediction.
An average of 44-27.
I don't have a guess. Mine will be between those two.
That's an awful lot of ground to cover. The number does fall into that range. 4,299.75. We'll round it up even. 4,300 is their average. Their average. And the great fun of it here is that the Invincible Reimaru is the one that's dragging the number down. Reimaru is only at 3782. Only at 3782.
Only like, top like 10.
Yeah. One of the best pure shooter mains to ever play the game is the weak link on this team. Sure.
I'm hearing their average, and I go back to look at my copy of Splatoon and look at my 1900.
Just get really, really sad.
Yeah, your 1900. That's probably not the same division either. It's probably not Takaroka, or unless you have switched it over. But I play on 10 attack. I know what I'm not about.
Yeah.
I can't hang with that. I know.
That grind culture. Wow.
Yep.
Something really fun, at least about the Invincible Fleet Reimaru, is at least like taking a little bit back to like the tournament that they played in together first, which is Area Cup Crown. In the winners finals, the grand finals, on a couple of maps, they read something really interesting. Everyone knows that Cooler's God. Everybody, like you can play the game casually and probably hear something about Tactical Cooler being X billion plus tier, whatever. But when it came to like maps like Crab Leg, Mincemeat, these much slower maps that don't reward the scrappy nature as much. Like, yes, you can. Like, one of the ways you can do things is like just get cooler and just run it down. But the pen is super powerful. Cheesing the zone is really powerful to stall the timer. They opted for double crab coolerless stuff. And that's like, no one talks about double crab because it's not 2022, but I do wonder if they're gonna opt for, really unique creative strategies like that, on a couple of maps. Like, not their main thing, but if they're gonna, tweak things, keep people on their toes.
Yeah, I think the idea of, and this is something that I really think you have to do when building a comp in Splatoon in general, is you sort of need these core concepts that you can always repeat. And that often manifests itself in like a classic AoE frontline plus bucket, right? That's a solid concept that everybody runs these days because it's very consistent, right? You always know that one of your players is going to be running into the fight, spreading things out, the rock hits the ground, the fish jump out, and then that's when the slosher can come and collect. I think another really important concept is, again, with double crab, you're sort of buying yourself time. I think time is like a currency that in the heat of a game of Splatoon can be tricky to...
Everything.
Yeah, I think it can be tricky to really track, but I remember this is, again, years ago, like 2018, when I was commentating with Hitzel, and I asked him, this is back when Urza was just tearing through everybody on one of those old Olive squads, and I remember asking Hitzel, like, what do you do against a frontliner who's like this? And you say you disrupt the timing. And he said that a lot of plays that happen in Splatoon are based on a player being in a right spot, finding an angle when you're not looking at them, and then crashing in on that. And if you can somewhat preemptively be ahead of that, that's great. What double crab does, even today, cooler, of course, is very, very strong, and going coolerless is always a big decision to make. But a well-placed crab on the right map can buy you like 10 seconds. And yes, cooler is great, but 10 seconds is enough to respawn and get back. And if it's your frontliner, they're probably wearing quick respawn anyway. So you sort of get a little bit of that staying power as well. And it can free up one of your players to play something that's maybe a little bit, I don't know. There's some kits that have crab of these other weapons that people will play that maybe play a little better on some of those other maps. So I love when that type of comp comes out and when you get to see that sort of concept illustrated in a big way. And again, listen, every strategy, all it needs to do is win one area cup and then we all think it's meta again. So, I love that teams have been able to find that out. And let's be real, Crab Tank is one of those specials that it's not exactly difficult to trip your way into. Like, there's so many good weapons with Crab Tank, but it's still good. Like, what made it good in the early stages of Splatoon still exists. It's just now it's not the only thing.
Well, amazingly well said. Disrupting the frontline timing is key. If your comp can do that, you find the way to do that, it sounds like that's the way. That's super interesting.
This is my guy Nyagora is just running the show here. This is so good.
It's so good.
I love. I hate this map for what it's. I hate this map for what it's worth. But when Nyagora's on it, I'm just like,
makes up for it.
We can't be hating too much. Your life's too short.
Very, very incredible roster shooting. Invincible Fleets, Ray Mario, hoping to see, showing that invincibility when the tourney hits. But I want to shout out another amazing roster here, which we didn't really cover the last time because we were largely focused on the JP side of things. But PXG. Ooh, these guys are gonna be demons.
Yeah, they. I will say this: if PXG wins this, I think this will be the most impressive exhibition tourney run that I've ever seen. I mean, there's just almost every single killer is here on the Japanese side, and I agree. Like, I got to cast PSG or PXG recent tournament here. I got to see firsthand how difficult this is to fight over and over and over again, and they got the goods, right? I mean, can they keep it up set after set after set is going to be interesting, but I mean, if you isn't the best pencil player right now outside of Japan, I don't know who you would pick if, like, and I don't mean that as any sort of disrespect to any other player either. It's just you is so good. It was
different.
I mean, well, it's one of those result things, right? Like, you continues to win. Gray, you cannot say enough, and yet you also can't find anything new to say about him. And oh yeah, their slosher player has 5,500 XP.
just a cherry on the top, you know.
Yeah, just bury that one. Just bury that one. Yeah, they've got a shot. I mean, it's gonna be, and again, part of it'll depend on the draw. Part of it'll depend on who they have to play when. But I think they can beat any of these teams once. Can they beat all of them in one tournament? I don't know, but I think this is about the best arrangement that we could put together to try for it.
Yeah. And something I'm very interested in, because this roster is actually, they played together in Area Cups before, and of course Gray, got top 10 once in Takaroka division. Like, what the heck? But at least this roster, they played in one of the more previous Area Cups that we did cover in a previous Splat chat, and they did lose in top 16. But I don't want to bring up like that as in like, oh, Japan is so much better. I don't mean like that, but what I mean it in is something they talk about when they fight Japan a lot is the ping factor. Mm-hmm. Because when the lag is, hitting and you're moving and you go behind cover and the pen shoots you behind the wall, that can alter some things. Like, for example, something a lot of people talk about when it comes to Jordan is that mechanically phenomenal player. Just ridiculous. 5,500 for a reason. But when there's so much ping in the lobby and your god mech player starts to get 70 behind walls by shooting weapons and not AoE guns, it's like, how much will that change? And then also things like, what's the host going to be? Like, are we going to have an NA host? Is it going to be like an EU host? The ping factor could be one of the sleeper reasons that, changes a game 5 situation.
Is ping ever a sleeper though? I mean, like, we've been having this conversation for years. I remember in one of the first, this would have been pay to splat back in Splatoon 2. I remember that was a tournament where for the first time Alliance Rogue, if they were Alliance Rogue at that time, I forget what they were entered at. You know the usual suspects. Ended up beating a Norishio squad. And as soon as the tournament was done, like frame 1, Norishio already had 5 clicks posted of Gray just not dying ever and teleporting around the map. So it's one of those things where at this point, yeah, it's a factor. Like, of course we know it's a factor. It's unfortunate. And you just hope that none of the players start to make the self-inflicted mistakes because of it. That's really all you can hope for in something like this. There may be a few just bad stuff, but I mean, we have players from 3 different continents for this one. When PXG plays a Japanese team, like it's gonna get a little squirrely at times, and I just hope nobody DCs. Like, that's what I'm worried about.
Can we put a bet on how many DCs we might see throughout the entire run? What's the over-under? Yeah, over-under. I'll set the over-under at 3.5. There you go.
Get the money in. Get the money, everybody.
But yeah, outstanding rosters here, and that's a great point. Like, everyone already knows about the pig, but we're gonna see cinema games regardless. There's gonna be crazy strategies. So much time dedication, but this isn't all the rosters that will be in Splat World Series, because there's going to be 2 Splat World Series qualifiers, and both of them this weekend and next weekend. And there are some demons that are signed up here.
Mhm.
Now, one of the groups that I saw immediately, and it was like, huh? Why is that guy there? Is FT Win. Now, when it comes to this, I saw Kyo, and I'm pretty sure I know that. Actually, no, I know this because I fought Kyo with Milky Way during Super Jump, and it was like round 2, and I got thoroughly shot on, and I was like, okay, why is Kyo in the qualifier? But then like it connected. Kyo was there, but it was Kyo with Ant, with Jared, with it was basically a like a Milky Way roster. So Kyo is not with that roster. They're with FT1 because the rest of FT1 isn't in yet. And I was like, huh, that makes sense.
Yep. I listen, anytime Bursty comes out and plays, I'm delighted. Love that guy. He's so smart. Like, he might be one of the smartest Splatoon players I've ever met. Biscuit's mechanical skill is otherworldly too. Shaq, if you ever watch this here, know that I mean this with the deepest amounts of respect and love here. He and I go way back. Shaq, I hope you don't suit up for any of these games, man. Like, this is you got killers on your team, man. Listen, you are a made man now. You have graduated. You're in the working world. You've got a dashing smile and a suit on in your Twitter profile picture now. I love those guys. I've known the FT Win players for so long. I've seen them win so many times, hung out with them so many times. So it's all in good fun here, but I'm just happy to see what I would consider the core roster of FT Win competing again together. They haven't actually gotten that many games like in tournament play with Kyo, Biscuit, but well, they have infinite games together, but Sam Mikado, they actually don't have a ton of games together with that squad in particular. And I know, the behind the scenes scrims, who knows who keeps count, but I think that this would be a great way if they come out and win dominantly and look really, really sharp. I think they could push PXG, honestly. Now, that's a tall tale to put together, but I mean, there's not a whole lot those players haven't done. Are they going to be in shape is the real question here. And I think this will be a great way to see if they are, just FT Win good enough to win this tournament, or are they FT Win good enough to win any tournament?
Yeah, great point. It's so great that you brought the practice factors specifically, because we the people know how ridiculous the legacy of FT Win just goes. The amount of stuff that group of 4 has done is just it's but yeah, the practice factor. Gray has done so much recently. Jordan has been in a ton of tournaments. Gus Gus has been on and off, but especially has been more on, and you has just been everywhere. So
pew 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 pew.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it, but something I'm extremely interested to see in is how they do not necessarily against the second seed, because the second seed does have some demons, but the third seed Moonlight, because in the most recent head-to-head, Moonlight was the victor of that. They did beat FT Win the last time they fought.
I never know what I'm getting with Moonlight. I again love these guys. Every LAN that I get to go to there, I'm always hanging out with Shadow and Nolan. They're all such enjoyable people to be around and so fun. I never know what Moonlight I'm getting, and more than maybe a lot of other teams, they really, really need to run into a comp that they can handle. Right? When they ran into Hypernova in previous sets, Hypernova, which is maybe the most apt name that you could give a squad like that, by the way, in terms of how they like to play their brand of Splatoon. I mean, sometimes it just gets too hot for Moonlight to handle in terms of the speed of the game and whatnot. And listen, they're grinders. They VOD review. They've got Coach Chara. I mean, come on, you've got plenty of resources here. I made this joke ages ago on a previous stream we were doing when we were talking about like a tournament that was coming up. I think it was on something with Pop Gun. And I made the joke. I was like, Moonlight, you've done everything that is asked of a top Splatoon team. You've done all the hard work. You're likable people. You have a big following. You have successful streams here. You have a brand, and people want you to win. You just have the easy job now, which is actually winning the tournament. And I want the best from Moonlight here. I just never know what Moonlight I'm getting.
Yeah, if it could be the we're gonna beat FT Win and then go game 5 with Jordan, Jared, you, Volty. If it's that Moonlight we're seeing, oh, the fans are gonna be raving. They're not gonna shut up about it. People are gonna be like, yo, Moonlight's a goat. And I mean, hey, like as you brought up, like, you know, just everyone from that roster, just people are just so much of a fan of Basil. Such a chill person. I love to like just like talk with them, like see their hilarious tweets. You know, no win, just super chill player. It's everyone on Moonlight is so nice. Omega, really chill person. Amazing IGL. So just smart at the game. And then Shadow, another amazingly chill person, just great on so many weapons. I want to see the 10s? Maybe. But yeah. And also here, the second seed here, Frutella. Ooh, this is a great roster. This is really great roster here. Now, one player that we did talk about that is on Frutella as their fifth is Phoenix, which, hey, Phoenix did just play second in both Barnacle Bash and Champions Cup. That there's some potential there. There's some sauce there. Crowny has done really well when it comes to the like just like playing pen and just in general has, you know, as the badge just has the sauce, people know his name. Third in the last Barnacle Bash as well, which is really nice. Now, Aaron is funny. I don't like, this is a kind of a meme that Aaron and some of their friends did, but that profile picture right there, Aaron and 3 other people decided to use the exact same Discord handle and profile picture. So when people would look at the Sender Q top 5, it's like, what the hell is that? Why is there 4 of the same guy?
The Tio and commentator in me is crying. The troll in me, though, is laughing.
It was absolutely hilarious to see it. Nah. From there, Punchy has been, a lot of people know Punchy as that Splash guy. Like they played V Splash and they're going to play V Splash and they're probably going to play V Splash for the rest of the time. They're crazy with it. Something really funny about Punchy is there was a graphic for Super Jump when it came to who got the most paints in the lobby. And you know, like when you think of like high paint guns, like Edits, Pen, even though the paint's nerf, well, technically both of them got a paint nerf, but like Edit's just paint, it's just different. You know, Strike Splash, Strike End Splash, Dread Ringers, both the Dread Ringers. The highest painter was Punchy on the Vanilla Splash with Crab Tank. How do you even do that?
Well, okay. Let's be clear. That gun is great at turfing. I mean, clearly, true. There, you see Zenith right beneath with, you know, a similar lineup of weapons here. I'm more impressed at the dedication to the craft on that one. Lexi, Basil, you, like Jake, we get it. Like, you're sitting back and turfing, and then when things get too hot, you back up and you start turfing. At some point, Punchy's got to go and start doing stuff with a short range shooter, right? So you earned that gold medal. That's impressive work. What was that? 1940 something?
Yeah, like
1943.
Average almost 2K.
In 5 minutes at top level 2, and Super Jump was all modes. So this isn't even a situation where it's like in zones and everyone's turf numbers get artificially inflated. This is, I mean, you're getting close to 2K up there in Clam Blitz. Remarkable stuff.
And last up here on Frutella, you got Slurp Chad, got the bucket, one trick. It would be cool. I mean, bucket's just like a very one trick gun in general, which makes sense. But something very fascinating. Frutella or Slurp Chad also got third on Barnacle Bash, which was really nice. But this player is a paddling pool and Trident Cup demon. Like, if you pull up the results and just scroll down their highlights, there's just a stream of first places when it comes to the paddling and when it comes to the Trident Cup. Like, the TOs probably just know everything about Slurp Chat at this point. Like, just weekly grinder.
I appreciate naming one of the teams Egoist. I mean, that's that's putting on the old 23 Chicago Bulls jersey, throwing on the Jordan jersey, but I like it. Name your team Egoist. Hey, if you're going to try to win, why not? Why not invoke the immortal spirit of that squad?
Yeah. Oh, dude. If Chocopero ever just like comes back to do something, just please make Egoist Part 2 the actual God Rush here. But also here, the fourth seed with Pathway here, Mondi, Minor. I'll try to pronounce their name. Spexal. I said it wrong. I gave it an effort. And then the Zekrom here in Bog. Now, I actually saw Zekrom actually recently won an SOS, which, like SOS, there's some hitters that show up at times. Like, there's some plus players that show up sometimes. Occasionally, you get the top players that come in and just 3-0 everybody. But, still very impressive. So very impressive to see like, wins like that in general. So also just shows that they're grinding, which is great. But Mondi here, junior one trick, pretty dedicated player to the crafts. You got Minor as a machine / bucket player, is pretty cool. Spec has been playing the sticker stamper. The funny part about stamper is that you could play any of those and they're all broken. Pick your top tier, choose a top tier, build a bear top tier. It's just ridiculous. And then as their fifth, we got a Bonk here with that. Apparently plays all the rollers, including Dynamo. Good job.
They know what they like.
Yeah. That is the top four here. When it comes to like any kind of like bold winner, like hot take of like, if FT wins not gonna win, who will win? We talked about it a bit, but Moonlight definitely a contender to like, if we're as not brought up, if it's the beats FT win Moonlight, then it's like, hey, there's a good chance there. But also, if you go further down, there are some like some pretty interesting squads here. One of them is, if we hopefully see the Octobrush dock motif, or at least quote kind of dock motif with a few of their members here. I'm super excited to see Red Shell play. Red Shell, like, Red Shell has like been like kind of on and off, so super excited to see at least 3 members of dock motif back here. We have Caden as the fourth. I see Caden in a lot of Twitch chats and tournaments as well. Solid player, very solid player, and +2. So there's always a chance. And the Octobrush does have a pretty good matchup in the crab, so. Also, I gotta shout out Healthy Diet Food Groups, because this has been one of the like longest known teams for a while. Like all you guys like heard of, like Healthy Diet, right? Like 100%.
Oh yeah. Yep.
They are.
I don't remember if I've played against them specifically, but I think we were seeded to play against them in an SOS a while back that I competed in. But I have always been such a big fan of teams like Healthy Diet Food Groups who just stick together and take the lumps and keep playing and keep mostly losing. But then you lose a little less and then you win. I remember Seafood Sorbet back in the day was like the team that I just developed such an immense following for, because every single BNS or every single weekly that I commentated, it would be a bunch of pickups at the top and then Seafood Sorbet. And then every once in a while they'd get a little closer and they'd almost beat a team and they'd keep walking up, and then suddenly they're a top 7 seed. Like Healthy Diet Food Groups is on this one. So maybe this is the time they take the next step up, get the big win. It only takes one win, by the way. It only takes one.
Like when Nispa, like around, I'm not sure if it was like years back, but like around a year back, like when Nispa got that first win, the opinion on Dapple just it just shifted overnight.
Hey, it's all right. Tiramisu's been convincing people that Glugas are okay for like like 6 years now.
Google does nothing for like 3 years. Oh, yeah.
I was just gonna say, Dory still has people thinking that Splat Roller is top tier. Okay, like it can be done. All it takes is one win.
But at least this like kind of like a personal experience here. Like I'm not a high level player, at least not yet, but something I've heard a lot of people around my skill level talk about and like try to like experiment with and have fun with is the idea of Coreless, and specifically Coreless dive. But I wouldn't say the way Healthy Dive Food Groups is like divey per se, but if a group that doesn't use cooler and that is known for not using cooler, like they run T-Tech, Swords, Bamboo, and Tent, like, huh? Like come again? Like, if a group like that, oh, sorry about that. Yeah, Junior with the ZILF. The Junior did the, strikes, yachts, sword, yachts. Yeah, the idea is that's Coreless, right? I'm not gonna hear the end of it when it comes to like the players I talk with. Like everyone's gonna be like, "Yo, Coreless won a major. Hey, you don't have to run Coreless. You don't have to run cooler anymore. When we're doing 8s, don't ask me for cooler. I'm gonna be playing Junior. Like I'm not gonna hear the end of it."
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you're rooting against him.
It'd be super cool. Like it would be super cool to see like a group like that just grinds. Well, that's just sticks together so much. Really win something like that. But also another hitter, Black Lotus. Woo!
Yeah, another team where I don't know what Black Lotus I'm getting. Because, I mean, from just raw skill, this should not be a 10 seed. But based on results, they've got to be the 10 seed.
Will we see Prime LeBron? LeBron? Sure. Prime LeBron Black Lotus.
Wow, we're giving him Braun? We're giving him Braun status? Like, I don't know. Maybe Dame Lillard? Like,
Yeah. I do not know that many basketball players unfortunately, but Noctis is a player that I'm like super interested to see because Noctis back then was known for being like that Luna player. Well, just Blaster in general, right? But like really Luna, like a Luna pusher, and changed the opinion a decent bit of like Luna going back and gone to like it's good. So the opinion changed a bit. But I've seen Noctis here play S-Blast a bit more, at least around a month ago. So I'm very curious on what kind of blast we're going to see from him.
Yeah, Yaru is the addition that made me kind of interested in seeing what this team could do. I remember this probably would have been 2 years ago, commentating a free agent event where players were being like showcased, pickups were being put together and whatnot. And Yaru like soloed the tournament. And has only gotten better since. And a 52 gal, when playing properly with a really good blaster player, I think can absolutely run over anybody. So when I saw Yaru as part of this squad, I was intrigued.
Makes sense. That's really impressive from Yaru. You just run a bracket like that. And then hey, if Black Lotus wins, that's another edit. That's a third group that has a chance of running edit. That'd be cinema. Lives will be saved. Splat League players will be saved. In terms of at least the like bold prediction for who would win, that's what I got. And at least last thing here when it comes to just the bracket as a whole, we talked about the Invincible Fleet Ranmaru. Crazy group. We talked about, PXG. If anyone from the West can do it, it's got to be them. Like save the Western society, PXG, like that kind of thing. But also a group that, of course, everyone knows. Everyone is like, yeah, that group is goated. Milky Way. I would say Jared, Jared, well, honestly, other players on a, if the momentum's right, like they are going to soar.
Yeah, I will be curious what kind of shape Bran is in. I mean, he's never out of shape. And I mean, there have been stretches where I've thought that he was just outright the best player outside of Japan. But that's a key aspect of it, right? Bran has not been, at least in the playing. It just has had other things doing, taking, whatever it may be. That's a key piece to it. And I'm a Bran believer. I think I've been subbed to him for like 5 years at this point. So he's the important piece for me on that squad. And if he is as sharp as he can be, I absolutely think that they could reach the same level as what PXG can.
Yeah. Battle of the buckets. If Brand shows him up, Brand shows like Jordan or Cammy or something up. That'd be so cool to see. And then talk about Jared, this incredibly just gifted mechanical player. Of course, grinds the game a ton. Like not gifted, not like they do nothing and then just God mode everybody. But there has been so many like triples, wipeouts that Jared has gotten on the dually. Got peaked like 3.5K playing dually on tower. So this is a monster. This is a dually monster. And I gotta shout out Jared in general, right? For like being a player to help change the opinion of Dewey into a more positive light, like for the longest time. Maybe even so now. Players think, okay, there's Splash and there's Dewey. They're both around the same level, but Splash is a bit better, more consistent. Crab output, the burst bomb is OP, but Jared has been, a part of the news story of if your support is more fighty, like Dewey's can fight better than Splash, that could be more valuable, especially in the meta like this.
I've always thought that dualies make a really excellent third wave. If you're talking about like waves of pressure in Splatoon and what that looks like, especially on maps where you want to keep pushing at the opponent, the dualies are like so good as number 3. Like if your number 1 is your sword, your decav, something there, your S-Blast, your number 2 is your pick your slasher, doesn't really matter. Pick whichever one you want. The dualies as number 3 into that fight, can you imagine you've just like haymakered your way, bloodied and pulped up through those two things, and now you have to deal with a dualies that now is just living through hitting people with 1 or 2 shots, taking them down because everyone's weak. And then as soon as all that happens and you're like, dang, I gotta respawn now, they've crabbed. And then everyone jumps back into the crab, and you're like, what was all this work? I just did it. It's so I love the dualies in that sort of role. And I agree between Kotaji, who is also going to be in this event, I believe, on Dragon Rex. I'm a little surprised that Wasabifu isn't on any of these squads, but for if any of you are wanting to watch top tier dually play, Wasabifu was on the team that won Area Cup 37, I believe. So not this most recent one, but the one before that, and has been a top tier dualies player forever too. It's having a moment. Those dualies are having a moment.
Yes, I just love like Kotaji, like you said, Wasabi. Oh, their aim is different, dude. Their aim is just different. But definitely has a chance to win that group right there. I also want to shout out when it comes to a winner, Dragon Rex. Now, in Area Cup Crown, they didn't perform too well. They did end up losing to Takoyaki Party in the losers bracket. But granted, this is this is an invitational of gods. So
Yeah.
if you don't do that well in something like that, it's like you're fine, buddy. Like you're still a ghost of the game. But the potential of a roster like this, and especially in a meta that has been more fighty than ever before, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Brush, yeah.
I was just gonna say that Mauricio fella, pretty good at the game. I remember at the start of this when like Mauricio, Melon, and Niagora were all racing to be the first 4K. They were simpler times back then. You had your shooter player you could watch, you had your sword player, and you had your backline player. And one of those four were going to be the first, or one of those three were going to be the first one to get there.
It's so historical goats ever since like the early times. Yeah, it's great to see. It's great to see a group like that. Now, at least since like that's like few guys that could win it all. I'm thinking Raymar was gonna win the most, but I am curious, at least for everyone here, what is your favorite of the groups that have been revealed so far? Like the group that you see their roster and it's like, that's a cool team. Like eyes light up type roster.
I mean, most of them is the short end. I mean, I will say my reactions to these teams were as follows. When Dragon Rex came in, I gave it a like. When Takoyaki Party came up, I was like, oh, because I'm a huge Kontan fan. So as soon as I saw that he was in it, I was there. False Dream came up, and I was like, woo, Water Bowl. And then I saw the Invincible Fleet Ray Maru, and my reaction was. So I think the Invincible Fleet Ray Maru should win this. I think they are the strongest team. They have who I consider to be the best player in Lobstar. And unless a Melon kill squad somehow shows up, I think that this is the team to be favored. I think that Naigora being there instead of a traditional pencil player will be interesting. I think that depending on the maps, I think that Naigora could run into a really rough matchup against Waterbow and Momo, depending on when they run into each other in the bracket, and the many other good pencil players, I should note. But in terms of just raw skill and placement in recent area cups, I mean, Grando's been getting every silver medal, Lobster's been getting every gold medal. And, you know, the other two, Naigora and Raymaru, have won Splat World Cups. And, I mean, Naigora is one of the big four on Egoist. So you couldn't draw up a whole lot better of a squad for an event like this. So I'm looking forward to some good plays, but they're my pick to win.
Totally makes sense. Just God roster and then so many great picks. Six, do you have a roster that you saw? It was like, wow, this is a cool roster, like that kind of vibe?
I have, I'm a big fan of Free Flow. Do I think they're going to get very far? No, but I really like them as people, and I really like watching them play. So I'm looking forward to watching them. That, as to who I think is going to win, I don't know. It's a toss-up for me. But I don't know. I'm just looking forward to watching it.
Totally fair. And then, yeah. So glad that you brought up Free Flow. That so many. That's like a homie roster, right? There's just so many cool people on there. Adopt is so chill. Like JJ hosted the Gauntlet, like helped get some high level teams, like some representation. Swiss really cool. Case Sparks, like yeah, that's a great roster to highlight.
And they were just playing. At least a few of the members were at MomoCon on the team Go. And so watching them live was really fun because they were poking fun at the other teams and having fun alias names. So just like they're fun to watch.
Great answer. I love that. All right, Dark, what about you?
I mean, I have the highest respect for JP and all their teams. Even though I don't necessarily ever have the time to watch most of their events, I highly respect a lot of what they do. But me, I am a firm believer and a dreamer for the Western scene, hoping that they get to get some sort of result over JP. So even though I on paper, I think JP is highly likely to win here, I gotta go with a Western team just to believe in the dream. And I think from what we've seen so far, that's been revealed to be playing at least for the Worlds here. I think I gotta go with PXG. I think that's the one I'm rooting for as of right now.
Demon roster. That's a fair point. And, the West. This. Well, okay, like just the truth, right? This is an underdog situation, but they're absolutely some god hitters. Like you identified PXG, definitely god hitters there. Goss, Gray, Jordan, you. So that's a good roster to highlight. I like that.
How about you?
Oh, great point. Actually, I forgot about that. But I'm very biased to one player in particular because there's one player that I studied before he went on that God Area Cup streak. It might just sound like I'm like a football fan. I was like, I was a fan of this group before they won the Super Bowl. But so you're all bandwagon. It's Toto for me. I love Toto. I watched Toto back when like bro was the squeezer god and like picking like OG squeezer on Flounder and like 3K people somehow. Like that guy is different. And as a result of that, that does make me a fan of Takoyaki Party. Like in Area Cup Crown, I'm trying to pull up the Area Cup Crown set here, but I believe this set was a massive part in what shifted the opinion of Stamper being better to Mince being better. It was trying to pull up the streamer, but it was Takoyaki Party versus Dragon Rex and the losers that we talked about a bit before with Dragon Rex. But Toto, even though during the games itself, he got dived like a lot, and it was like hard for him to fight just like a quick, fast fighting roster. Their group was still able to beat them there, which is like because everyone was a believer in the like this Stamper 20xx God propaganda, and it's not propaganda because it's just true. Like the gun is ridiculous. Like it's not even. I don't even know I called it propaganda, but. That was the first time I felt like really the reliability of Mint was seen as like really valuable there. So I hope Takoyaki Party goes the distance. I'm really rooting for them. So that's pretty much we got through the teams. We talked about the qualifier in the recent tournaments.
Actually, can I get some quick 5-minute quick clickbait from you guys? Real quick. Trust me.
Absolutely.
For the sake of finishing it off, or can we get why doesn't it show up properly? I'm sorry. I'm messing it up here. Give me 1 second. I wanted to do for the qualifier, at least, if it'll show up correctly, if it doesn't hate me. Wait, okay, let me just share my entire screen. There we go. Okay. Can we put some of I have the top 10 teams here. Can you rank y'all's collective prediction for top 8 super quick, off the cuff? Who cares if it's wrong, because I know you guys were debating about whether or not the seeding was right or wrong. I'd like to see a quick, maybe wrong, maybe right. People might disagree online. Who cares? A quick ranking top 8 from the top 10 seeds.
Ooh. Okay, do we all have an idea of what we want for the first seed?
Don't think too hard on this one. Kind of no, it's FT win. It's FT win.
Yeah.
Those highest chance of going to distance there. Now, second, I'm a Moonlight believer. Like with the way they just progress tournament after tournaments, they might have had like one sub, but they immediately bounced back with a land win and also bounced back with Netsy win. So if there's a group that is minimum top 2, depending on the day, depending on the kind of moonlight, like Nine brought up, I'm believing in them. I'm rooting for them.
See, I wanted to put Frutella at second, so Phoenix could get second in another tournament.
Dark, I think you and I have to break this tie then.
Oh, see, I'm torn because I'm a Moonlight believer, but I'm also want to be the one to commit to the bit too. No, I'll stick with my ideals. I will always follow through the bit. That's my ideals. I want Frutella to be second.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's 2-3. And for the sake of making this simple, I will abstain from this vote because otherwise we would tie. Because I would have Moonlight second, but I am totally okay with putting Moonlight at third.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at their best, I think Moonlight is second. But I think given where they could finish, 2.5 is probably right. Which would round up to 3. But I would not be surprised at all if they get second.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
Are we Pathway believers on 4th? Or no? Do we believe it's overseeded?
For number 4, I'm not thinking Pathway. I'm actually thinking Healthy Diet.
I was just gonna say that.
Oh, spice. Okay, yeah. I'll play ball with that. Sure. I can be swayed. I can also be I can also be bought for what it's worth. So,
And there was one SQ finale where Healthy Diet like top 4'd, and that combined with, I remember like one time Kia was talking about against a group like Healthy Diets, they had to swap off because of what Healthy Diet ran. And it's like the way that it was, like the energy of the way he said it, it made it sound like they were struggling against Healthy Diets like regular comp and had to pick weird stuff to just like giga counter pick. Now the counter pick worked really well. Like it worked really well. Like I'm pretty sure they won a set like 3-0 or 3-1.
I was gonna say, was this Sendo Q? Because I was gonna say I think I remember that being a 3-0.
Yeah, the counter pick absolutely worked. But if Healthy Diet is able to like, if they show what they did and like top cutted SQ finale, if it's that kind of Healthy Diet, like heck yeah. And I know they're all like really smart players, like ZIF making like a really nice guide on improving for the game, talk about some really cool ideas like bartering. So if a group like that, like at least top 4 is like, I'm happy with that.
Number 5.
Any opinions for 5th?
I feel like go ahead.
I was gonna say I feel like Black Lotus should be brought up at least a little bit, but I don't know how high up.
I wouldn't put him 5.
Ooh. No,
not 5. I could see like 6 or 7 maybe. I don't know. For 5th, you were really talking good about Pathway. I'll be honest, I was not familiar with some of their more recent results. Some of the players I'm like vaguely familiar with, but in terms of like recent results that they've had, I really like to look at like current form when it comes to a format like this. Are we feeling Pathway? No? Yes?
I'd go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pathway will find the paths to at least top 5. You know, if they find the path to first place, and yes, dude, heck yeah. We're relievers.
I like 129 for my next.
Okay.
Okay, I'll tell you, I'll cut to the chase here. The one I'm having the hardest time placing is Duck Motif, actually.
Yeah.
Because I do not know I don't know what they're like these days.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
You look back at Red Shell's results, and there ain't a lot of 2025s on that list.
Mm.
And I don't mean that as like good results and just been playing bad. I just mean if you go on Sendo Queue, the last one you're going to see is April 12th. And that was a charity bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And the team name was Washed Motif. So I you never want to count out an old vet who can still bring it, but I just don't know. Splatoon's real fast. It's hard to keep pace, and it's hard to get back into shape if you are taking a little while to get back to it.
Yeah, I like throughout this entire talk with about the World Series, I really was just looking at kind of Duck Motif and just genuinely wondering like how it's going to be, because they've had like they're a seasoned team through and through, right? But there's just hasn't been much. They haven't been doing much as of recently. It's really hard to say exactly what has changed and what hasn't changed and whatnot. And I really don't know. And not to count them out by any means, as you said, Nine. But it's just like it's kind of like they're a wild card right now, because it's so hard to know what to expect from them.
Yeah. Also, my apologies to production. You asked for off the cuff, and we're now 10 minutes into this. So.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. This is the last thing we're doing. You're good. If I may add for some background information, 129 has been Cat Owl, Acer. They've been a European pickup group that's just been terrorizing weeklies much in the same fashion as Frutella, just not as dominant. Artifice is a brand new team. I just finished interviewing Fox, who came solely from Collegiate. Like, he started Comp Splatoon in Collegiate, and then some high-level FAs. They've been making it to top-level events consistently. Super Jump Day 2, even though they DQ'd, and Sender Q Season 7 finale. Blank Z, results-wise, has just been blowing Black Lotus out of the water in a lot of ways. I think outside of like the Deutsche Bundesliga or whatever, the Splatoon one, the German tournament, outside of like that, where I think Black Lotus is doing better, Blank Z has just been the better German team on paper right now.
Interesting.
If I'd have known any better, I think you're trying to sway us.
I just give the facts here. What can I say?
Okay. Listen, anytime someone has to start by saying, "Hey, I'm just giving you the facts," a little alarm should go off in your head. That's all I'm saying.
At least here. I'm thinking like, I feel like Black Lotus is gonna tighten up and get 8th. That's my feeling. Like, outplace the 10th seed and like get like top 8.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
Then
We gave Black Lotus 8th on our Super Jump prediction for top 8, and they didn't even make day 2.
Oh,
just a warning.
shit. Well, hey, I really think, I really think kind of Duck Motif. I think they're gonna.
No, I'm not trying to sway. We can be believers. Splat Chat believers. I believe in them. I believe in them personally. They need a tournament to get back in from. This is it, if anything.
Oh my god.
I'll double down on Black Lotus. I don't care. If I'm wrong, then so be it. But I am a believer through and through.
Such impressive conviction. It's like you're talking yourself into your own prediction halfway through the sentence. You're like, well, I think, but you know what? Actually, no, I do think. Like, all right, 7.
What's this? Oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm like eyeing all these guys. Okay, so like Artifice, that's Sam, Bounce, Fox, Peta. What is this? Like, it's like Splash Sword. Is it a Splash Sword Gal Pen?
Yes.
I don't hate that.
And we got Blanks here. Like a 6-person roster? Edit Dewey Scorcher call. What is that? 2 Tetra player? Okay.
May I
the
offer?
6-person roster.
I'll make my offering here. How about this, and then we can bounce off it. I'll go Artifice at 7.
Ooh.
I was kind of leaning towards them, yeah.
Yeah. The player of theirs I'm most familiar with is Bounce, and I see pretty good things. Whenever I see a 3 next to your X ranking, you have my attention. When I see that it also says JP next to it, you have my undivided attention. But no, I think from a just raw skill standpoint, certainly got the goods in that respect. And I think that there's sometimes a little magic when a team comes together for a run like this. You were saying that, coming from the collegiate scene, some things there. And of course, how things ended up going for them in Super Jump, not really their fault in the truest of senses. They sort of had the unfortunate thing of real life. But I think that they would be a team that I would not be surprised if they got even further up than 7th. But I think that 7th is probably the lowest I could put them, given the roster and given the pieces of what we saw from them in Super Jump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beautiful explanation. That day 2 Super Jump, that's definitely like a seller.
Yeah.
What about you, Six? How you feeling?
It's past 10, so I'm feeling sleepy.
It is really late. Yeah, that's our top 8.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm fine with this.
Clickbait achieved.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's going on Blue Sky and Twitter later.
Yeah, the most mundane, respectful clickbait possible, where we have to give props to justify not putting somebody there. It's I'm sure this is exactly what you wanted when you brought us all on here.
But yeah, with that, we hit our points here. We got the quick bit at the tail end here. It's gonna wrap up episode 8. Episode 8 of Splat Chat. Talks about some great things here. Just a small recap. Area Cup number 38. This is Toto and Lobsters. I believe 2nd one in a row. Shout outs to Powerful Mints as Splash Duo. Barnacle Bastion Champions Cup. Hey, a simple format. Money, casting, double elim zones. That's how you crop tall players, We talked about some of the new Splat World Series reviews. Just so many incredible hitters there. Big shout outs to the Invincible Fleets Raymaru. Their tag is super long, but they also have a super high chance of winning the tournament. And at the tail end here, we talked about Splat World Series qualifier. We gave some pretty, I'd say, hot takes, like 5 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty hot. And yeah, with that, anyone got some final words before we end the cast here?
Drink water. It's hot outside.
I love
Stay fresh. Stay fresh.
Absolutely beautiful. Everyone, if you're watching right now, just get a glass of water. But before you do, I want to do some plugins. I want everyone to do some plugin. Let us know where you can find you. Like if you're doing some cool content ideas or streaming or something like that. You're starting with 9. You got anything?
Yeah, you can find the stuff that I'm interested in at on Twitter, POW _NY, and that's where you'll see a lot of great stuff being done for the Splatoon community and top tier content. And you can find that on pretty much every platform.
Beautiful, POW NY to find great things indeed. Six, what about you? You got any?
I would say look up Six Pack Yolks. That's my team. We're not that good, but we were voted most wholesome team for 2024. So that's what we got going for us. Look us up on Blue Sky. I don't think we're on Twitter anymore. It's 6-pack-yolks. YOKES. No L. Not about eggs.
Got it. 6-pack yolks, everybody. Make sure. And then Dark, what about you?
You can find me at most social media websites at SPF Dark. I repost random nonsense from time to time, but more often than not, you most likely hear my voice time and time again across multiple different organizations we have in terms of commentating. I'm literally all over the map, trying to keep myself busy however much I can. But yeah, that's where you most likely find me.
Beautiful. A commentator that gets a job done. It's Dark right there. So SPF Dark, SPF_Dark. Right, and then for me, kind of everywhere, but okay, let's just start from the top down. So YouTube, I like to upload little guides and reviews type there. I'm also on TikTok where I upload stream highlights. In my Discord, I do 8s. If you guys don't know what 8s are, they're essentially like competitive matches of random teams. But the difference, if you watching want to play in some comp matches right now, join my server and join those 8s. Anyone can tune in. Sometimes we get plus players in, so like it's an absolute blast. I also like to stream. I stream most nights on Twitch, where it's a mix of, you know, like X rank or like the 8s we talked about, some tournament gameplay, and I post a lot on Twitter and Blue Sky, some like Japanese breakdowns there. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap up everything, y'all. Y'all know where to find us. Make sure to get water. And with that, you know, we're gone. Stay fresh, as Nine said.